as I would. It's too much effort.
Dried bacon? No, that would be. You could get bacon
Dried
bits.
Bacon
That's for dogs. I'm sure your dog enjoys that from time to time.
It's very important that when you're trying to buy bacon bits that you read the label. Sometimes they will spell it like BAC''N. It's because it's not actually bacon. It's just some kind of imitation something.
So it's like a Taco Bell for dogs,
guys.
right?
Yes, basically, yes.
Okay.
It's not definitely not 100% bacon. That is for damn sure.
All right, great.
But it looks like it, and it smells sort of like it.
Right, but I do think that Duracio's bristleback is more bacon-like than the bacon bits that we're discussing, as this hero
for sure.
is very strong.
You could easily
right now.
sell him as bacon, and most definitely not have to change the word.
Yeah, but I think it's probably a tougher meat to get through because of that bristleback passive that he has, right?
Well, naturally, you definitely don't include that part of him. You can't include the back because it's 40% damage reduction. That's hard to chew. And the side as well. You just have to throw that in the garbage. 20% damage reduction from your chewing. That's you got to go for the nice underbelly, that bacon stuff, you know?
Okay, yeah, underbelly does sound quite good as the game is underway. Now, Tundra versus Gaming Gladiators. Gaming Gladiators are in dire need of a victory, as if they do get a victory, then they stay Div 1. If they lose, then there's going to be a tiebreaker to see who ends up going down to Div 2. Well, Tundra, they've already qualified for TI. They've qualified for the major. The ranking of the actual DPC matters to a degree, but I would say that Gaming Gladiators, there's a lot more on the line for this series.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And speaking of on the line, they're going to do some desperate, dare I say, beginning of the tri-lane, trying to zone 3-3 here. And Tundra is reading it a bit. They're playing kind of safe here.
Okay.
Already gave 3-3 a tango, expecting him to have to beat up Celery here. But yeah, he's not even going to approach the creep wave until Tofu shows. And on the top lane, that hasn't happened yet. So Ace getting a little zoned by snaking. And until they see Tofu, they just don't care. They don't want to give first blood here.
Yeah, playing a little bit careful as Ace taking some harassment in the top lane now. But, I mean, overall, looking at the lineups, do you see anything that you love or hate? Or is this basically an even game looking at the draft alone?
Yeah, what they pointed out on the panel was very accurate. They do have some disable problems that they're going to have to deal with, and that's kind of tough. But they also have two sources of percentage-based damage, which is quite good against the tanky lineup. The Death Prophet's got Spirit Siphon, and Zeus will eventually have his passive. 3-3 in trouble, though.
Yep, he is definitely dead. We'll go down the right clicks of Duraccio. So first blood for the Bristleback, who has kind of been, I want to say, the hero of the last few weeks. It feels like it's being picked anytime it's available.
Yeah.
Have you felt like this is the carry right now?
It is really, really good for sure because it lanes well and it also scales really well too. And it does a nice mix of like being survivable and also like you don't really have to buy BKB on the hero, for example, so you don't have to worry about timings as much. You're pretty much good to go all the time. He did go for Goo level 1. He's been using it really well here against Tiny. Look at this minus armor.
Yep, Tiny
minus 6.5.
Sox is in a lot of trouble. Gets off the Avalanche, but Duraccio, a nice job of turning around, so Tofu should be able to get this for himself. So 2 kills already for Gaming Gladiators as Skeeter will find the first for Tundra in the top lane. So Ace, obviously, like you said, in a 2v1, it's kind of expected at a certain point.
Yep, that's going to be the offset. It's very important that they do get kills on Ace while they're getting kind of smashed here in their off lane. But yeah, that Goo level 1 pickup, not super common, but it's a great skill. It's minus 3.5 armor at level 1, slows by 15%, slows an extra 3% every extra stack with an extra negative 1.5 armor. With 3 heroes hitting somebody, that minus armor is incredibly good. If you just have Quill Spray there, they don't get those kills, and they don't pressure the lane nearly as well. So that was really cool.
Ace getting some help in the form of Tofu, but Tofu's going to be the one that ends up dropping here. They almost got Snake King, but the Fairy Fire kept him alive. So trying to salvage this lane to a degree. So really hard to tell now that the musical chairs have kind of ended for the time being, which, like, would you rather be in Gaming Gladiators' shoes at the moment because of the Bristle start, or would you rather be the Bloodseeker?
I mean, what you're basically trading is both offlaners are behind and both carries are ahead. So which one is better for your squad? Bristle being ahead is pretty sick. Having your Death Prophet behind feels a little bit bad to me on the Tundra side. And having Night Stalker be behind also kind of hurts because Night Stalker should be really effective against the Tundra squad. Death Prophet's probably still fine despite being behind net worth, whereas Night Stalker is kind of a hero that's tempo based. Like if he gets really far behind, he just can't really be as aggressive and as effective. So in some ways I kind of think that I don't know, it's probably a little better for Tundra, but it's pretty even.
Oh, bottom lane, 33 is going to get gone on, but he does have that Spirit Siphon percentage-based damage that you were talking about, so that's going to force Dyrachyo back a bit, as 33 getting a little bit more healthy. 3 stacks of goo on him currently as another nuke comes out from Celery. And, I mean, looking at the mid lane, 29-3 for the Puck, and on the other side, Mr. 9 playing Zeus, 22-2. I mean, Zeus has been this hero that I want to say 80% of the time it feels like, at least the games that I've cast, is the support. So this time opting to go mid. Your thoughts on that for this specific game?
I think it'll be fine for them. I mean, maybe the support would have been a little bit more effective in some ways, because then you would have had like a more powerful Dawnbreaker or something like that. But I'm sorry, more powerful like Winter Wyvern core instead of a support. There's upsides to that, certainly, but in the same vein, like, 9's going to hit a much stronger timing. He's going to be way more survivable. If you're playing, like, Support Zeus against Night Stalker, that can really suck sometimes, because as soon as Night Stalker gets on top of you with silence, you're kind of just screwed. You can't jump away. So I've definitely seen some games where Night Stalker really abuses the Support Zeus, whereas if you're mid Zeus, much more likely to be able to deal with that due to you having more net worth. So...
Celery, he's going to get tossed back after the avalanche as Dyrachyo trying to help him out, but the double kill from 9's ult, that is huge for Tundra. Holy jeez.
I just watched him tick over to 6, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's going to use that. I look bottom, there's that fight. Perfect there. Catches both of them. He doesn't get that much experience from it. I thought it would be a little bit more, but hey, the extra gold is going to accelerate him a little faster towards the Arcane Boots, which means that his lane becomes even better. And yeah, his last hits are quite a bit lower than Puck's right now, but this is just because Puck gets to abuse the small camp so much these days. You walk up to a creep that you're about to nuke anyways, you nuke it towards your small camp, and you basically just clean those up for free without having to even leave your lane.
Yeah, Snake King gets dropped in the top lane in the meantime here as Soxa going for another toss play, but he's going to toss the catapult instead. As Ace getting chased by Skeeter gets slowed to a degree thanks to the hammer and the void, and you can see Boom coming in, nicely timed ultimate, and this would be a nice cleanup for Gaming Gladiators. You can see the Night Stalker just sticking around for the extra XP, and a little bit of payback for Gaming Gladiators.
Cool. I thought he was dead for sure, but not quite enough rundown there, even with the phase boots on the Bloodseeker, so... Good escape for Night Stalker and a great rotation. And he gets back to the mid lane as the catapult gets there too, so he doesn't even lose that much. Continues to abuse the orb on the mid wave and the small camp. So everything going really solid for Gladiators right now, but the game's still very, very even.
Yep, Dyrachyo.
Arcane Boots finished for Zeus.
Dyrachyo picks up his Vanguard, which isn't going to help too much against 33. In fact, it helps do more damage, if anything, with the Spirit Siphon. I mean, I feel like we've seen the exact same build almost every game. Sometimes there's a hood instead of a Vanguard, but Vanguard into Ags pretty much right off the bat. You're expecting similar things, I assume.
Yeah, he's going to probably need a hood this game due to the Zeus and the Spirit Siphon damage. It's just too much magic. But a lot of cases, you just get the Vanguard because it's good enough, right? Vanguard is good against magic damage and physical in the sense that it gives you more HP, you know? So it's like, yeah, I could buy a hood, but I'd have 250 less HP, that kind of a thing. But he's really going to need some magic resistance later on, even if it's just something like a cloak. You usually don't want to spend too much on it, though, because then it delays your Ag Scepter, and that makes your timing a lot worse. But I think in this game setup, when they have this much percentage-based damage, yeah, he needs to have magic resistance later on.
Yeah, Ace gets ruptured, so that's the first one of the game for Tundra, and ends up being an easy one overall for them as Tofu gets off the nice Starbreaker. See if they chase any further. Skeeter has some move speed to go with it, but they're not going to pursue as they're fearing potential TPs to come out from Gaimin.
Yeah, they've been messing with Dyrachyo a little bit on the bot lane too with a toss back, but didn't accomplish very much.
Ooh, that was close. That was sub 20 HP, I believe. As Dyrachyo, he's going to get gone on now, 33 with the Exorcism, and that is a very large kill for Tundra. This is something, I don't want to put too much blame on Dyrachyo, but we have noted like one of the big differences since the Major is it feels like he gets caught out quite often on this position 1 in a lot of their games, which ends up resulting in snowballing to the other team's favor. I'm not sure if that's going to happen this game, but that's something I've noticed that wasn't really the case during the Major or before the Major even.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily agree. Maybe he's making more, from my perspective, maybe he's making a couple more mid-game mistakes where he gets picked off, but yeah, maybe his performance hasn't been quite as solid, but again, everybody keeps getting better. It's a very hard game to stay on top.
As Dyrachyo now level 5 in that bot lane. So looking at the actual farm going out, he's doing okay, but obviously against that Bloodseeker, it's going to be a bit of favor for Tundra, as Snake King is going to have to cold embrace himself, but he is surrounded by enemies, and the Starbreaker is going to be enough there. So Tundra lose their support as Boom is coming with that coil. Try to set something up on Skeeter, who is having a monstrous game. Basically tied for the top net worth.
Yeah, both the mids are sitting equal. Skeeter's having a great time. Now Dyrachyo dying twice total. His net worth has dropped a little bit, so despite the nice start for him, it's gotten a little bit worse. He is still going to pick up a Soul Ring. He's got a CM in his team, so this is one nice thing for Bristleback, actually, is that usually you struggle a decent amount on mana in the mid and late game, because the Soul Ring is not enough to sustain like the Ags Goose spam, but CM will help a bit there.
We do see the coil, but unfortunately for Gaming Gladiators, it is onto Snake King, so I think Tundra will take that as 9.
It's fine. They're just getting Puck more golden experience, right? Closer to Witchblade now, he's 200 gold away. So his rotations being successful is really important on this hero, because if you get a couple good rotations, it kind of just unlocks your solo kill potential. And there hasn't been much pressure on 9 yet. They haven't even made an attempt on him, just because killing him is pretty difficult. They'd have to probably commit like Dream Coil and like 2 ultimates, but for now, game's still very even. 3-3s getting decent levels and experience too on the bot lane. Tofu cleaning things up, but yeah, very even game so far.
Yeah, Sox has been looking for somebody, as we're going to see a smoke now from Gaming Gladiators on the side of for Boom and Celery specifically. And Boom's ultimate not going to be up for another 18 seconds, but he does have the Arcane Rune. See if they can time this. Is not really anybody that nearby. The closest is Skeeter, who's just backing up. So bot lane, we're going to see 33 with the Exorcism. Going for Tofu, who's going to dodge the Avalanche, gets off the hammer in the meantime, looking for potential TPs to come out for Gaimin, but they are not to come, so Tofu will be left to his own devices.
Yeah, I think they were just hoping for a top hero to show maybe. I mean, if they all TP bottom, the fight probably doesn't go that well anyways. They could get crushed there, lose tons of momentum. They'd lose their pressure on the top lane as well. But this looks pretty solid for Tundra from my perspective. They, they got the tower killed, they got their little kill. They can now rotate towards their mid lane, and Gaming Gladiators didn't really all in on pressuring top either. Not like they have very good tower pressure with their heroes either until Bristleback gets more farmed. So yeah, slightly ahead for Tundra still, and if they can get a successful kill on Dyrachyo mid, those would be really big.
Yep, they're looking for the Avalanche to start with the Toss Rupture. That's a lot of damage, but it is a Bristleback. Tofu coming in with a nice Solar Guardian on top of Boom's Coil, so they end up getting the kill into the Bloodseeker, but it is at the cost of Dyrachyo's Bristle, so a 1-for-1 for both position 1s. As Boom, he's in pretty deep now. Avalanche is there, and that's a big turnaround kill, and 9 gets the double.
That was a big mistake there to go diving and not get the kill. Unfortunate. But great initiation. I love the way they did that. The Avalanche into Rupture toss was really cool. Kills the creep. They get the Rupture damage. And, some of it gets not resisted based on the Bloodseeker's positioning, but just overall way too much damage in the end. Wasn't much Bristle could do there. But the fact that they got Bristle, or that they cleaned up the Bloodseeker was really good. So small goal advantage for Tundra with that little play.
Yeah, ever since they changed Avalanche to not give you any space to use anything, like a phase shift, for example, Tiny has just felt super good against Puck to be able to lock him down.
Yeah, it makes a really big difference for sure. Definitely seen as one of the counters to the hero, definitely. He's a little bit less burst damage than he used to, but that's probably for the best. Makes the hero a little bit less cheesy in terms of his snowballing. But still very, very effective and a little bit more multi-purpose, which is kind of fun for the hero.
Do you miss?
Kind of cool to see Sox actually get a point of tree grab too. Most trees don't.
Do you miss the old Ags for this hero, the old play style? The IO, Tiny, get the Aghanim Scepter, just beat on buildings?
Like a IO play style kind of. Not really. I mean, it was cool and all, but it was very, it was very limited. It was like the only way the hero could be good was with an IO.
And Dyrachyo kind
of a big ulti.
Yeah. And it's all for Snake King. They should find him with the Frostbite connection. It's going to be the trade for the Curse, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. Even a Freezing Field from Celery wants to take out those creeps swiftly.
Like kind of a lot. But I mean, you kind of have to commit. This is the nice thing about Night Stalker. It is a counter against Wyvern 5 in this way, because Wyvern 5 is so good at doing what Snake King just did. You sit in the trees, you spam out Splinter Blast so the creep wave can't push very easily, and then if they come try to kill you, you just fly over the trees for 8 seconds. Nobody can chase you except for a Night Stalker. So they burn the ulti, but they kind of have to do this. If they don't, then he keeps being annoying, and the tier 1 tower doesn't die in time, and then their state of the game never really accelerates. So now they're about even tactically on the map.
Yeah, very even game. When it comes to the actual Roche take, which will maybe hold that thought, is 33 doing a lot of damage to this tier 1. And you can see there are some members of Gaming Gladiators in the area, but not sure if they want to actually defend. Going for the deny. Not happening though. So Tundra gets the first tier 1 mid.
That was cool. Super, super safe the way they did that. Hide in the trees, cold embrace the creep wave to keep it even tankier, and then when it's slowed, then they can pop out and commit. And they knew Night Stalker ulti was down anyways, right? So Gaming Gladiators was realistically not going to fight there when it's daytime, but they still did it in a really safe way because they don't want to give anything up right now. So that was very, very patient and cool by Tundra.
Yeah, Ace is working on a BKB, and I feel like we haven't seen much from him yet, aside from that kill onto Snake King with that ultimate of his. But I mean, you can see his farm. I mean, it's not the greatest farming hero, right? That's kind of the issue with Night Stalker. I mean, the shard, I guess you get at some point that can help to a degree, but it feels like a hero that just has to get like super active really early. Obviously, you're kind of stuck on using it during the nighttime, being effective during half the game.
Yeah, the shard makes a big difference for Night Stalker. It really does. You can kind of think of it like a Midas in a way. It might seem underwhelming on paper, but yeah, it just accelerates you for sure. And as long as you continue stabilizing in your laning stage, or at least like you still have places on the map to farm in moments like this, then it still can help. So his net worth is not as great as Death Prophet's for sure, and he can't take objectives as well, but if he transitions well in the mid-game fights and gets kills on backliners and stuff like that, he'll be fine.
And Bristle has Aghanim Scepter purchased now, just needs to be delivered. So that's the obvious power spike from Gaimin, as they're trying to align it with the BKBs. So Night Stalker is still a recipe away, and I guess that's the only person going for BKB as of now. But Tundra kind of reciprocating, right? So it feels like it's much more standard play to get the BKBs like roughly the same time for both sides versus like what it used to be years ago. As we're gonna see a smoke now from Gaimin. Boom. Oh, smoke does pop. He gets the blink off coil onto 9, but you can see he's actually outside that solar guardian, so he might be just fine. In fact, Boom gets disintegrated. That's not even a word, Purge, is 9.
That's not.
9 looks like he's going to drop. No, the curse is saving him for now, but the Splinter Blast is not quite enough. He gets out with just a sliver of HP, and Duraccio dies as well. So this was just terrible from Gaimin, as it's not over yet. The Rupture is there as well. So triple kill for 33, a 4 for nothing. And they even invented a new word for me during this fight. So much was done for Tundra.
All right, let's take a look and watch Zeus get disintegrated. I'm sorry, the puck gets disintegrated here. I mean, it looked like a good jump because Zeus jumped himself away, and then they were able to coil him kind of close to enemies, but unfortunately it looked like the Donald was just slightly out of AoE, so they didn't get that damage follow-up. Puck got blown up almost instantly, and then they also got Bristleback so low from this that they were able to clean him up. Just, yeah, absolute disintegration of a team fight.
So it is a combination of incineration and disintegrate. Yes, that was, whew. That's a sign of getting old right there. As you can see, Boom in the trees. They're going to get a little bit of vision here. Avalanche toss and the silence, and that is yet another death for Boom. Number 3 for him. And obviously not to compare, because Nisha has just been, I mean, I don't know if it's just me. Obviously everybody's, you know, touting how good he's on puck, but I don't remember ever seeing anybody do so well on puck ever in this specific season for Secret.
Why are you talking about Team Secret?
Because there's a puck in this game. It's just not the same.
Okay.
I mean, he never dies on puck for Nisha. It's unbelievable.
Sure. But there are some problems this game that he has to deal with. You know, there's a huge amount of burst damage from Zeus, so if he ever does get disabled, he's pretty much instantly dead.
Yep. Ava toss back to 9. So Celery getting juked and destroyed.
Not much you can do. But I think one of the sleeper most underrated abilities in Dota actually is silence on Death Prophet. I think like people forget how powerful this ability is, but it's like it's just an orchid, you know, you just have this ability. If you silence the puck, he dies. Like most pucks don't buy Yule's Scepter these days. So yeah, Boom has made a couple mistakes where he gets a little bit overly aggressive. He gets silenced, and then they just use regular disables to kill him.
Dyrachyo, he's all alone. You can see the control coming out from Soxa, but the TP attempt is not going to be successful. The 9 ultimate coming at the last moment. Looks like 33 is actually the one to get the kill, but that was as close as it gets. Yeah, I thought he was out for sure. As we're going to see now, a curse from Snake King as Tundra starting to take firm control of this game. Soxa's there as well. Double kill for 33 from jungle to mid lane. And now into the Roche pit they go.
They're just doing such a great job. They're all over the place, constantly setting things up. Now committing Exorcism to Roshan, which will tank things up perfectly for Skeeter. His BKB is probably flying out. It is. Yeah, this is just going absolutely perfect for Tundra. Top lane is being pushed in with these illusions from Zeus. Who expected to see that?
Wow.
Great split pushing. They'll probably go straight to the top tier 1 if they want it, or they can go for a kill.
Very powerful illusions indeed, as the Aegis is picked up by Skeeter. Celery, wrong place, wrong time. I think he wanted to get a ward down. Either way, he gets deleted. 7K lead for Tundra, and it's crazy how close in skill a lot of these EU teams are. Like, not to trash talk NA, but like, oh, we're gonna see the buyback from Crystal Maiden though. As you can see, Ace with the BKB, Solar Guardian coming in. It's not really gonna connect onto anybody but the coil, keeping a lot of the Tundra on the other side of the river, but Ace is dead to start this fight. Tofu looks to be next, and the Aegis still online for Skeeter. He is cleaning up. Dyrachyo, you can see the Spirit Vessel applied. Skeeter getting juked by the trees a bit. Can't pursue any further, but either way, they get a 3 for nothing. Tundra coming out on top big time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to fight into that. I mean, the Night Stalker runs in BKB, he just gets ruptured. It is one of the hardest counters against Night Stalker. It's like your Pango-esque counter. Like, he needs to run in and out of the fight to be obnoxious. And yeah, he did an okay job DPSing Bloodseeker, but when he dies, Bloodseeker gets like a huge heal, and they're able just to run down the rest of the squad. And that was also Tofu's ultimate, the Solar Guardian on top of that, to try to offset it and give them more advantage, but it's just not there. Tundra's just running over their opponents, and it feels to me like the Gladiators kind of missed their timing at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for sure. As you can see, Dyrachyo is still working on that BKB while Skeeter's had his for a while, and I think he's going for a basher now. So might get a little bit uglier for Gaiman, but I mean, what I was going to bring up, like versus the NA teams, like the skill level, you can tell it's not that far apart. It's just like a couple mistakes that Tundra take advantage of, and then they can kind of blow the game open, right? Like the 9K lead looks bad, but it's not like a huge skill discrepancy, at least in my opinion. As we're going to see toss back, and you talked about that silence coming out from 33. And Nine's just going to take that for himself. Why not?
And it's like, oh, it looks like you might miss the kill. Let me just take that. Naturally. Yeah, got to do that on the Zeus, man. Gotta get those that extra gold here. He's got the Vambrace, he's got the Kaya-san, his spell damage is huge.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, they're all over the place.
Yep, that's the Rupture, Bloodright, and the damage. 33 is a monster right now. 11K lead for Tundra as he picks up his basher now. And 33 able to do some damage to this tier 2. They should be able to take this without much of a defense, although fortification is popped.
I mean, the damage that 33 is doing to Bristle is actually insane. He's hitting him with the Spirit Vessel and the Spirit Siphon. So per second, Bristle's losing like 9.5% of his current health. That's being reduced by 40% or whatever because of his Bristleback, but it doesn't matter. Like, he still gets absolutely shredded. That's just the beginning of the damage. So I mean, he doesn't have BKB yet, so there's just no way Bristle can fight. You might think, like, maybe he gets magic resistance, but that doesn't really solve the problem either. He needs BKB. They needed the game to go slower, and they needed to hit a time where they have BKBs, and then they can run at their opponents. Yeah. Like, the percentage-based damage that they got from Death Prophet and Zeus just really undercuts the Bristle in a huge way. So I know they don't have stuns. That's an issue potentially, but they've gotten ahead, and now they can just run at their opponents. Yep,
now we see Nimbus onto Ace. He's going to BKB TP, so I was going to say should be fine, but there is a Winter's Curse. So Ace, that's a big BKB charge down, and he's going to be taken out swiftly, and Snake King, he deserved that kill. This time he takes it for himself.
I mean, it was kind of Nine who set that one up with his Nimbus to get the perfect vision there, which set up snaking. But
True.
You know, sometimes you can't steal every kill. You can steal all the glory. Nine's doing his best though. He is 7-0 and 11 on the 12th of July. Very close. Just needs one more assist.
Yeah. It's 33. Gonna take the outpost as this tier 2 tower is looking to be dead in favor of Tundra. And the Aegis is going to expire in 40 seconds, so I'm not sure if they want to go high ground. It's typically in these situations, it feels like they just take the safer play and just split the map and wait for the next Roche. Just try to get as much control over the vision as possible.
Yeah, they're trying to get kills.
Oh boy, that is not a good sign when you're just taken out with an Avatos Nimbus. And that is the puck dead. Celery looks to be next. Man, Tundra looking pretty unstoppable in this game.
Yeah, I think this is just Gaming Gladiators assuming that Tundra is going to go high ground, so they're just getting stuff out of the map in the meantime, but they're doing the better thing, and then they just keep going back and forth the map and crushing their opponents. This is probably the best way when you're ahead to continue crushing and compounding your advantage, because your opponents just keep dying, you keep getting gold advantage, and you're farming equally or far faster than them, so it kind of just gives you more and more. Tofu probably dead. Oh, you used the hood.
All right.
Nice.
Very nice hood
He's got
usage.
Nimbus in 2. Can he kill him with Nimbus?
No,
Nah, he's not going to try.
That would just be free gold. Nimbus worth so much gold.
That's true.
So there's no right or wrong answer to this, but I'm interested in what you think is happening with... I mean, this is only game 1, obviously, so the series is certainly not over.
You were the worst driver, yes.
No, I'm not. I actually was not going to bring that up, but how dare you? Gaming Gladiators, they're kind of their decline, which we'll have to hold that thought as Dyrachyo is going to get healed up a bit, but Tofu on the other side, Dyrachyo just dies inside the Nimbus. They are kiting him so hard right now as the Rupture.
They got Soxa.
Yep, they do get Soxa. Ace gets bashed inside the Blood Right. So the BKB activated, but he can't really run around with that Rupture still there. And the buyback from Dyrachyo. It is a 2-for-1 with the buyback coming through. His 33 is getting quite low. Looking for Dyrachyo in the trees, though. This would likely be GG if they find this dieback kill. Skeeter getting control, though. The Starbreaker is there. Coil to follow. But they're just going to run away, it seems. That BKB gives Skeeter that exit option. But still, it's a 2-for-1 with the buyback obviously coming out from Gaiman, so Tundra's still coming out on top in this fight.
It actually wasn't that far off, though. Only like a 500 gold difference here, considering, which is surprising to me. But you know, delaying Bristleback's BKB is going to be the big tough thing. That's going to be rough because every fight just seems to be Spirit Vessel, Spirit Siphon, and then they just kill him burst damage.
Yep, and you can see Gaiman trying to get very aggressive. Soxa was the recipient of that initiation, but it's going to be punished. Tofu taken out to start it. Soxa looks to be fine. So back to my point. Gaming Gladiators, since the major, they just haven't really looked the same. Like, how much of a combination is it that the patch kind of nerfed them a bit versus them knowing that they're qualified for TI, so maybe not... I mean, I guarantee you every team is thinking they're taking it seriously, you know, but it's human nature to, like, put your pedal off the metal to a degree, just like in the go-karting that you saw, which is the main reason that I lost, obviously.
Yeah, too scared to spin out.
So what do you think the main reason is, just from... Obviously, we have no inside knowledge, but I'm just curious what you think.
I think that Gaming Gladiators started doing better because they improved a decent amount and they developed like kind of a unique strategy. And I think they're still a very good team, but teams have gotten better at playing against that strategy. So it's going to be hard to you know, reinvent themselves or to perfect it in such a way that your opponents can't counter it. So I think it's just like a nature of, like, they're a really solid team. But, you know, they've just looked a little weaker recently. And keep in mind that a lot of the EU teams are really, really good, too. So it's also that. I think that can't be underestimated either.
Yep, that is true. I'm used to watching a lot of NA, where that is not really the case for half the teams.
What are you talking about? TSM got second.
Yeah.
And now they're 3-3.
They feel... I mean, no, the top 4 of NA is super interesting, but after that, not so much. But it is an improvement, right? Because before it was literally 2,
Yeah.
then it was 3, now it's 4. So
Yeah.
we just need more slots for the major. I'm sure everyone will agree with that. Take one away from
I actually
EU,
genuinely
right?
do agree. No,
Maybe not that
I
one,
would
yeah.
say... Ooh, I don't know how you take one away from. They're all regions are actually pretty solid, so it's tough.
Yeah, it is. Just add more slots in general then. You know, the old power creep mechanic.
Just do the old 19 teams invited to the major and figure it out.
Easy. As Ace and company, they're smoked up. The Avalanche is going to slow them down a bit as Ace, you can see, has that crippling fear activated. But he gets ruptured inside the Blood Rides, already at half health. Just trying to find some distance from Skeeter, but they're going to find him easily. Don't even have to touch him. Just the rupture was enough. And that is a dead Night Stalker for 40 seconds with no buyback.
Skeeter really using his BKB well, in the sense that he's not using it. I mean, he runs into sort of dangerous circumstances, and he's just trying to force his opponent's abilities away. Because now they know that Bristle pop BKB, because he can't fight Bloodseeker without it, and then he just has to back. And now Tundra can do whatever they want for another 90 seconds or so. And if Dracho comes up, this is what's going to happen.
Celery, will he get away? Attempting to TP out. And looks like it did get canceled. He's doing... Yeah. That's not going to happen. So Tundra getting everything they want. I assume they're waiting for the second Roche to finish the game, as it is now up. And boom. Obviously doing the puck classic of just split pushing as much as he can to delay what seems like the inevitable. This is a 20... Oh man, the coil. Yikes. That feels bad.
He knew Snake King was there because he went invis with his Shadow Amulet, but Snake King anticipated the re-jump. And ends up being caught. 9 gonna chase him a little bit.
Yep. And with the Bristol dead, I guess Roshan isn't really needed. As 33 and Skeeter just gonna start hitting the racks. So this should be a clean top racks for them. And they could continue. I mean, they can go for full megas if they really want, as all the outer towers are down at the moment. But with the Exorcism dissipating, looks like they'll reset and potentially go for the old Roche.
Not too bad here. Keep in mind, Bloodseeker has like perfect items against the Bristleback this game. He got the shard earlier. It's giving him like 50 pure damage per hit that heals him. The Mjolnirs were really good against Bristol too. When he activates it on himself, the quill damage that comes out naturally is going to sometimes proc damage back. It's just fantastic here for Skeeter. Really tough for him to play. Celery going to walk in though.
Yep, he's going to get tossed back. And Skeeter ends up getting the kill. That was the old alley-oop. Skeeter really slam dunked that one. As Doraccio trying to find a target. And Soxa is going to get another toss, this time onto Tofu. Man, he is just doing everything for this team as he's attempting to TP out. Looks like he's going to be fine. Nope. They do find him in the end. Okay, he gets healed by the Cold Embrace, and instead, Doraccio's the one that is taken out swiftly. And boom, pops that Essence Ring as trying to help out his friend in that Night Stalker, but Ace drops next. It's a 3-for-1 as finally Soxa dies, but the GGs come out. So game 1 going to Tundra, and I mean, it started off relatively even, but just a couple of mistakes from Gaming Gladiators, and it felt like Tundra just snowballed the crap out of the game after that.
They really did. I mean, Puck had a good start.